Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2. Mineski, the old veteran squad, of course, from the Philippines, facing off against Pagibig.TnC. Some new faces on this Mineski squad, though. This is a best out of 3. This is your grand finals for the very first inaugural, I think I said very first already, but the first Philippines Dota 2 All-Stars Challenge, Invitational, whatever you want to call it. This is Mineski versus Pagibig.TnC. Crucially, I want to say, made possible and brought to you by Pacific Esports. They are your sponsors, your organizers for this event. Be sure to show them some love and to support them. Facebook.com/Pacific Esports. Of course, the event prizes provided by CM Storm, some cool mice available for some gear for the players who win this one. But I'm LD, I'm joined here by Nebula, and it is Pagibig.TnC currently leading this series 1-0. Still seem to be the best team in the Philippines when it comes to Dota 2.
Yeah, they look good in the last game. I mean, there was a couple poor decisions early on, but they really overcame them pretty well. I mean, Mineski didn't play awfully. They had a couple questionable item choices here and there, but really, I think TNC deserved to win that. I don't think it was by any chance a giant throw from Mineski. TNC looked good. Now, the question for me here is, are Mineski going to allow them to just run something very similar again with the Magnus? I mean, they have the first pick this time, so TNC rather, I feel like they're deciding, whether or not they want to remove that possibility from the other side. Have you seen Mineski play much Magnus? I haven't actually gotten to see them play much recently.
No, they're kind of sort of an unknown entity when it comes to Dota 2, and traditional, like the first few times I saw them play in Dota 2, they were running like the same old picks that you see in Dota 1. Kind of not adapting to the new patch, to the metagame, but they have run Undying earlier today. Now they go for Darkseer, who does see some play in Pinoy Dota. Not really a super common pick, but I like this opening from Mineski. Feels a lot more versatile than picking up that Prophet right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, Darkseer is such a versatile hero. It's pretty much always going to be good. I mean, it's certainly not as powerful as it was in the last meta, primarily because of the interactions have kind of changed with Vacuum, mainly with Naga, of course. But it's still a very viable pick, and seeing it first picked here kind of says that to me. Interesting that they banned the Fury into TNC. I mean, that's really respecting Mineski's potential or desire to split push to remove Fury from the equation. And really, was one of the few things that gave them a little bit of trouble in Game 1 was Fury kind of split pushing. The problem was every time he did it, he got caught and died. Yeah. So I almost wonder if you just give it away in hopes that happens again.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think Mineski kind of it worked out in some aspects, but overall, we saw some great TP and mechs, earn like the air dropping supplies to save the Tiny, but overall it just didn't, and the Shadow Feed in one case, but overall it just didn't seem to have quite the impact they're hoping for. This combo right here, if Mineski get the levels, is just excruciating. Vacuum sets up an ice path on everyone. Then you have Macro Power, you have Twin Breath, of course the wall to drop. I've seen teams when they land Vacuum and ice path, 4 or 5 heroes die from full health almost instantly if there's any kind of follow-up.
It'd be sweeter is if Jakiro got the solo middle and then got a quick Ag Scepter, because Ag Scepter Macro Power is one of the coolest casts ever. You have not seen a Macro Power until you've seen an Ag Scepter one.
Does it look different?
It spawns at like twice the rate, so it's just like it's like a dual breath that just shoots out insanely long and powerful. Oh, it's so good.
Anyway, it would be interesting.
That's not going to happen. I remember there was a team in the early days of Dota 2. I think it was a Dead Mage-led team.
That ran Solo Magic Hero, and if I it got stomped, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it did get stomped. Did we cast that together? We might have.
We may have, or maybe I just watched your cast of it, but it was a bit of a disaster. This looks like a Mineski tri-lane. The Jakiro, the Naga, and I gotta say, I think this is kind of what you want to do against TNC, but once again, they get their hands on their Magnus.
Do they put Darkseer in the tri-lane?
No, I don't think we'll see that.
I thought you were referring to these 3 heroes were their tri-lane.
No, Jakiro, Naga +1, I think.
Got it. Yes, they will probably be tri-laning. I agree. Magnus, yet again picked up by TNC. Yet again, they have the Queen of Pain, and again, they have the Rubik. I feel like if you're Mineski, I'd almost be more like, I'd be happier just giving them a Gondar or a Batrider. I understand those are really powerful heroes and nobody wants to play against them, but I mean, they've shown you what they can do with Magnus. They've shown you how well they can combo that with Queen of Pain. I feel like you got to respect it a little bit more.
We'll see. Especially I could see the Bounty Hunter. The Batrider, though, that is a lot to give away.
Well, Batrider's bro.
He's a whale. He's a whale. Now, Darkseer is a hero who can lane against Batrider, so in that sense, just spam Ion Shell, farm the creeps. If Batrider tries to go in on you, you can always surge away until he gets the last one. Even if he does, as long as your positioning is good, he's not killing you. So I think that matchup could have worked in that respect if they were angling for Darkseer. Maybe they could have given back right away, but you never know how the enemy team's going to respond to your bans. And, well, I still like this draft for Mineski a lot better, mainly because they have ways to deal with the Queen of Pain. They have the net from Naga. They have the sleep to get in range to set up the other stuns. I feel like the Naga is this crucial component that, sure, Pagibig have the crazy team fight. They've got the AoE, but you've got Naga, and that means Queen of Pain cannot count on just, well, until she gets her Lincoln's BKB, if she goes for that again, is not going to be able to count on being able to be aggressive and not be punished for it.
Yeah, and honestly, she got the Lincolns a little bit slower than you would expect last game, and it still paid off dividends. So it's not. There's nothing to say that she couldn't get it faster this time, which would make it even more problematic. So yeah, I really like TNC's pick so far. I mean, obviously, it's kind of the same thing they did last game. The Naga Siren throws in a little bit of a wrench. Naga Darkseer not really the combo it used to be, of course, but you still have a pretty powerful set of initiation into some decent potential for Riptides as well. If you just cancel the ultimate and then Darkseer Vacuum, you can still do it if you properly time it. It's just not as guaranteed sure thing going to work.
I would like to see them get some sort of big burst damage style hero for their solo mid. That's really what they're lacking right now is something.
A Queen of Pain?
Yeah, well.
I think they're racking a Queen of Pain. Puck, interesting.
This is a hero that does. He's got a little bit more damage now. I think the damage on Silence was buffed, but he's he's not a Queen of Pain by any means.
They had actually nerfed the damage on Silence many versions ago, and they just buffed it back to where it was. It now is back up to 280, so the Orb and the Silence both do the same damage. It used to do that, and I think in some long time ago version they switched it down to 240. But that said, Puck, the biggest problem with Puck, he recently got a buff. She has, I believe, 6 more base damage now. Puck always kind of had a crappy last hit potential. I've played a lot of this hero, by the way. But the biggest problems are still, you're reliant upon getting a Blink Dagger to really initiate. I mean, you can use Orb to that effect. The silence is going to be pretty decent, but if anybody ever catches you, you're just dead. And laning is not really a thing that Puck succeeds in.
Well, he's a lot better now because Phase Shift doesn't have a mana cost, especially against Queen of Pain. If she tries to Shadow Strike you, you can even just dodge auto attacks. So using Phase Shift effectively will help you. It's still a matchup I give Queen of Pain a slight edge just because she's got the more spammable nuke. She's got the early blink, which is more reliable than Orb and isn't her mobility, like her escape mechanism is just a little bit easier to use. And if you use the Orb to try and get a rune, Queen of Pain beats you there, so support's there. Suddenly you have no escape mechanism left. But Pagibig, let's talk about these last 2 picks. They go for the Nyx Assassin and the Dragon Knight. So this really throws a wrench into what I think anyone was expecting, especially this Nyx Assassin pick. Now, I know a lot of Pinoy teams liked Nyx Assassin back when he had the bugs with just he'd be a tri-lane support. You max the bugs first. Just Imba AoE silences, but that's not an option anymore. So what do you think of these picks?
Man, Uma Swarm was pretty sick. as I recall, the skill was called. It was hard to micro, but if you could do it, it was really, really OP. That said, how are they going to lane this? Because I feel like Yanni's going to go middle, right? Queen of Pain's going to be in the mid lane. DK's going to be farming on bottom. Are they going to long lane Magnus and then have Fox play a support Nyx? Is that the plan? Because Nyx is a hero that desperately needs levels. And without enough levels early on, it doesn't really do anything. We saw Na'Vi pick Nyx in the grand final of the International, and they ran him solo mid because the hero just needs XP. Actually, did it stay solo mid? I'm actually second-guessing myself now. Did Dindy protected lane?
For what?
For the last game where they picked Nyx against the Coddle against IG?
It was actually a puppy Nyx and a tri-lane, I think. If I recall correctly, it was a offensive tri-lane with a Nyx Assassin. And he said the reason they picked it was to counter Keeper of the Lights Illuminate in lane. But it didn't work out.
Well, no, it also counters the Ravage. Because
it makes it a little bit easier to steal, but Chuan was really good with his Ravages. That never really happened.
Because you can dodge the Ravage with his ultimate. When he's invisible, it doesn't hit him. So he can be standing right next to Ravage, and if you properly time it on land, you can dodge it and then stun him and allow it to be stolen. But yes, it didn't work out like that at all. I mean, playing against IG.
Are you sure it doesn't hit you if you're invis?
Yes. If you go into Vendetta, from what I understand, if you go into Vendetta, it does not hit you.
Huh. I didn't. Well, that's not. I don't think so, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I mean, it's kind of a niche pick. I think this will be a tri-lane support Nyx. I think.
Wait, maybe it's Spiked Carapace and counters the stun, right? No, it doesn't counter the stun, but it stuns him back. I don't remember now.
Yeah, you still get stunned by Ravage, but what happens is you stun Tide, so you can't instantly anchor smash, and then it makes it. In theory, it makes it easier for Rubik to steal Ravage. The problem was that Chuan, whenever he Ravaged, was always on top of Rubik, and Rubik just died. Like, Dendy didn't have to farm or the backup to actually be able to steal it. He stole it once, but the game was pretty much over by that point anyway. But I guess as far as this game goes, yeah, I think it's going to be a tri-lane Nyx Rubik, and I think what the goal for TNC might be is a couple of early smoke ganks. Nyx Assassin, not really the strongest harassing. The other thing they can do, which we've seen, I was on Much Ado About Dota, NeoDota's like talk show with Blitz, Ali 2000, Paint Dota, and they were basically bitching about the mid pulls. So that's something else we could see is mid pulls as well as just safe lane pulls, and kind of abuse the experience advantage. Get Queen of Pain level 6 before the puck, and just try to get levels through pulls. Darkseer could throw a wrench into their plans, though. It's going to be a bimbo offlane Darkseer for Mineski.
Yeah, the mid pull is kind of annoying, but to counteract it, there is a long lane pull potential on the dire side. So it's relatively balanced. I mean, I realize it's kind of offset on different sides, but I mean, the Dota map is not balanced on both sides. Like, that's not really, and I don't really necessarily think that it should be. I think an asymmetrical map is okay. I mean, obviously it's worked out pretty well so far as map goes. Anyway. Did you already do the Radiant side?
Let's do it now. Cast, the captain for TNC, he's playing the Rubik. Support Rubik, lane ward already placed. Ryo is going to be on our DK, is rushing a Soul Ring. So DK actually going bottom, which is sort of what we expected. Fox on the support. Nyx Assassin has sentries. No smokes picked up yet by this team. jessievash on the Magnus should be going offlane, but maybe they're just not going to put anyone there because, well, offlane Magnus, they've got a lot of chain stun for him. Skewer might not even be enough, and Yanni, who was sensational on Queen of Pain last game, had his moments where he made some mistakes, but the kills were insane. I think 29, 3, and 12, something like that. He'll be going solo mid as the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, I believe Vash is going to go for a little bit more of that aggressive playstyle that he used in Game 1 and try and get some early action to get some levels. On the Mineski side, we got wootz, or WTZ, playing the Earthshaker. That's going to be 716 on the Naga Siren. SEL, who played the Shadow Demon last game, is going to be rocking the Jakiro this time. Swash, I don't know how to pronounce that, is playing the Puck, and Jay on the bot lane is going to be that Darkseer. I'm really interested in how this middle lane goes, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Something else I'm excited about is wootz is actually on his signature Earthshaker. Earthshaker and Chen, two of the standout heroes for wootz, so looking forward to seeing how this Earthshaker plays. Bottom lane, though, Jay's only level 1, and comes a hasted Rubik. They got to get the skewer right. They will, or not, actually yet. Now the skewer from jessievash. Quad lane bottom, and Jay has got to be a little bit frustrated about this. This should be our first blood. It will be. And
even DK managing to pick it up there. That's big.
Yeah. He's pretty much got the soul rate, and once he gets it, he can just, you can pretty much just lane against Darkseer. Almost 1v1. Sure, he's going to get some levels, but you'll be fine on your own. That frees them up. I think we'll see a Smoke of Deceit fairly soon with that kill, and they can look to try and pressure this mid lane a bit.
Wagga says he should buy a mecha. I don't know who he's talking about, but he says he should buy a mecha. So that's Wagga's expert analysis.
Maybe the Nyx. I'm not
sure.
The
Nyx should get himself a mecha? All right, we'll go with that. I hope that's what he's talking about. I mean, I think he's about 2 minutes behind us or whatever the delay is, so it's hard to know exactly what he's talking about, but I'm sure he'll clarify in 2 minutes' time. So jessievash has decided to rotate, it looks like, up into the top lane, though. He would be potentially going for a gang middle. There is a ward, however, right here, so there's not really a lot he can do as far as picking off the Puck. And Puck's a difficult hero to gang anyway, especially with the phase shift early on. He picked it up at 1 as he should. The new phase shift is just so good. When they changed that, I probably played Puck about 10 games in a row before I got frustrated with still not being able to last hit with it.
The new phase shift is fantastic, and I mean this is a key lane. I think this is the most important lane for Mineski. They're doing a lot of pulling up top, but they need this Puck to at least hold his own mid, get some farm. He doesn't necessarily have to kill Queen of Pain, but that blink silence is crucial. Blinking and silencing, suddenly Magnus doesn't get off his ult at the proper time, can't skewer away. This is really their big initiator. Sure, they've got the net, they've got Darkseer, but for me, it's going to be all about Mr. Swish this game, and he's doing a great job with that phase shift. Is keeping the pace as far as farm goes, and does have slightly lower damage than Queen of Pain. But once again, Mr. Swish showing some quick reactions, and Yanni's chewed through pretty much all of his mana.
Yeah, and it's important to note that it costs no mana anymore for phase shift. So I mean, he can do this non-stop. This is not going to, and you just need to spam it in lane exactly like he's doing. If you haven't played Puck since that change, you'll have an inclination to not be wasting mana in lane, but it's perfectly fine. Just do as much as you possibly can.
The other. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, meanwhile, through all of this, Naga is getting a lot of free farm up top, and Jakiro doing pools as well, so they are getting a decent amount of levels there.
This is probably the best split pushing. Oh, no, he's already used phase shift, but the silence is there. No, he's fine. Oh. For once, jessievash misses. He has been on point, but I think that's the first skewer we've seen him miss. This in now a game and change. A game and 3 minutes time into this one as well. He's been really good. But
I think some of that has to do with the silence just kind of causing his throwing his timing off.
Yeah, definitely. And even if he had hit that, I'm not sure if it's quite enough. It might have been. But I like the fact this Naga's getting a good start for Mineski. Bottom lane, they're going to go on to Darkseer. Jay gets caught out, has a surge in 8 seconds, which basically means he doesn't have a surge. He's in a lot of trouble. Just a moving wall here from TNC. Tangoing through. Jay so low when he stops to surge. Will they catch him?
Oh!
What an impale snipe.
That could not have been closer. That was literally the tip. Just the tip, but that's all you need.
Yeah, but to finish my point, I think this Naga pick, giving her free farm is rather dangerous on the side of TNC because Mineski, they're all about the split push and an early Lincoln Sphere and early Radiance. How are they going to kill this guy? This could really create a lot of space for the rest of the team, even if the Darkseer struggling, the puck not completely crushing his lane. A Naga with an early Radiance or an early Lincolns this game, I think that's going to put Mineski in a really good position.
Yeah, DK's a hero that can deal with it later on once you hit level 16 and get giant frost epicenters. I mean, you can definitely kill all the illusions, but they're gonna struggle to actually just kill him anywhere between now and then. And even then, that's reliant upon DK getting quite a bit of farm because DK is much more of a tanky hero than he is just a pure damage dealer. So, yeah, I feel like Naga's in good shape. I mean, the Naga, the nerf that was really just 12. Was it 12 base damage removed?
Right.
So if you give him a free farm to lane or a free lane to farm, that doesn't really matter at all, and you got the same old Naga, just with a little bit less damage.
Right, he's not as good at getting kills or being aggressive, but even then, he's still pretty damn good. He's still got Riptide, he's still got the net. And once you get to the mid game, that 12 damage, you feel it a little bit, but it's not like you lost 12 agility or something where suddenly it's a ton of attack speed you're missing as well. Darkseer has abandoned the bottom lane. I think this is a pretty smart rotation by Jay. This is probably what he should have done after the first death. Now jessievash might get caught out.
Yeah, Jay's going to go ahead and charge in here. We see a nice Fisher block there. Well played from wootz, but
Skewer,
of course, Skewer just goes right over it. Fox is going to come around the backside here, just kind of run him away. And Jay is now blocked out by that same Fisher, interestingly.
Any other tanky melee initiator in that situation, even a Darkseer, probably dead there. Oh, no. Puck's in some trouble.
Nope, got phase, got orb, he's totally fine. And in fact, he just barely missed the silence there. That silence AoE just a little bit too off there.
They've got a sentry. Mr. Swish doesn't realize it. There's the impale to start this off the stream, and he will pay. Mr. Swish showing some great reactions this game, but apparently not checking the inventory of that Nyx Assassin in that 2 or 3 second window he had. Will cost him. Rune's going to spawn top, and haste turn for Queen of Pain. This Queen of Pain is getting a lot of help, I gotta say, and Puck maybe looking for a bailout here.
Yeah, even for a pro player, I don't really expect them to just check for a sentry in that short period of time. So
right, it
it's a little difficult to expect them to do that.
Yeah, well, I restarted it, so we should be good to go in 2 minutes' time. Sorry to everybody watching. You're going to miss a little bit of action. Score's now 7-1. Let's try and get caught up real quickly. We just had the Dragon Knight finding a kill in the Darkseer and the Queen of Pain on the Puck, so Puck struggles continue, the Darkseer struggles continue, and Pagibig.TnC just playing so well. This is more what I expected from them in Game 1. Game 1, I felt there was some sloppy overextensions. We're not really seeing any right now, and in fact, Dragon Knight, does he really have his Shadow Blade? 11-minute Shadow Blade on this Dragon Knight. This is potentially game-breaking, I feel. Yeah,
that is a really quick Shadow Blade. Now, obviously, it is a little bit cheaper. It was $3,300 before the change. Now it only costs $3,000. So you can pick it up a little bit quicker than you used to. And I think it's a little sad that I know the exact price on a Shadow Blade because nobody should ever be buying that item, really. We do have an initiation in the middle. Yanni looks like, no, just barely manages to get away. I thought for sure they were going to get that kill. That would have been huge if they could have picked him off, but unable to do so. Fox going to pop in here. Wow. Did he? Oh, they have vision. Okay. I was like, what?
That's some hacks for you.
That was amazing.
Oh, they want Yanni, but just not able to get him. This is the one concern we had for the Mineski lineup. Where does the damage come from? It's pretty much all the Naga that it comes down to. Bottom lane, Ryo going to work. There's your stun. He does have a Flame Breath, but he's taking too much. Tower damage will be forced back, at least for the moment. This is... that's my concern for Mineski right now, is they are a bit lacking in damage. TNC, no problem with that. They've got a DK with the Shadow Blade, they've got the Queen of Pain, they'll have Empower. They have all the damage in the world, even just the number of nukes they have. Mineski, kind of lacking. And now bottom lane, this is Jay. Just too much. This is that Shadow Blade, just such a game-breaking item. If you get it this early, like, Darkseer can't lane here anymore. He shouldn't have been trying to lane here anyway, I feel, but... he's paying for it.
Yeah, Shadow Blade is one of those items that's awful 80% of the time, but when it's good, it is so good. Like, it just gives you so many kills. I mean, DK can literally... Nobody can come to that lane anymore. DK will just kill you. And if you don't know where the Nyx is, you could easily just get double sniped and just like any dead hero. So I think it's a really good choice. We used to see for a little while there in Pinoy Dota, they were getting blink daggers on DK, and it was kind of a toss-up as to which one was better. But I think they mostly just settled now on the Shadow Blade as the initiation of choice, because a lot of the melee heroes that you see getting it, they had problems with actually hitting heroes. Now DK doesn't necessarily have that problem, but just putting somebody right up next to you like that is really, really good.
Man, Fox is being such a nuisance, and he's level 8 as this roaming. Whoa, Mr. Swish. Trying to bait that one, will do so. Forces out all of Fox's mana. Although he's got arcade boots, he's got a bottle and a null talisman. Now going back for the Dagon 5. This is, or 5, Dagon 1.
That would be amazing.
This is TNC have so much burst and so much instant killing potential.
Initiation up top, we see a nice ultimate from Vash, followed up from Chim, but just not enough damage. We see an Ensnare now catching him. Rubik steals the stun from him. Is he going to be able to use it? No, he's not. He has no mana. He's going to be able to survive, potentially? No way. I think he might actually live. Is he going to be able to TP out? This would be amazing.
Oh!
Nope, he's not going to.
Just barely.
Well played there from Jakiro. Jakiro understood exactly where he was, just placed it perfectly there. Interesting initiation there. They used the ultimate for Mags, unable to get any kills, though, as wootz was able to survive.
Yeah, this is the Naga having that ultimate orb. If she didn't have it now, she's dead, but just barely lives. And that's
she didn't even have to use her ultimate.
No, but having the ultimate orb, having that extra HP, yeah.
I'm just referring to the fact that because she survived and didn't have to use an ultimate. I mean, the ultimate at level 1 has a long cooldown, so being able to survive and not have to burn that is actually pretty relevant.
The downside, the concern for me if this goes late though is Naga's not. She's great at split pushing, she's great at stalling.
She's not a fantastic carry.
Well, and also, what's she going to do against the Dragon Knight, especially, who's going to have, eventually, that just ridiculous Frost Dragon Splash, plus Empower giving him even more damage. Now, on the bottom lane, towards the bottom rune, rather, Shakiro getting caught out. The Queen of Pain will nail him. Yanni not going to miss this one, and then blinks away to safety. Oh, boy. He's getting a little bit out of control now.
Yeah, Yanni is really starting to get a lot of kills. I mean, he's sitting at 5-0-1. He's level 11. Look at the levels on Mineski. 7, 10, 6, 7, 8. Yanni's 11.
Look at the solo killing potential. Dragon Knight going to find another. These semi-carries are just solo killing everyone. And Mineski, what can your Naga do? She's not a solo killing assassination kind of hero. Oh, and in fact, they even get Mr. Swish. The troubles, the struggles, they continue, Nebula.
Yeah, Puck, not a hero that's great when you get behind. And Puck is most definitely behind at this point. 0-3-0, level 8, sitting on just a bracer. When you're buying bracers on Pucks because you're not getting to a Blink Dagger anytime soon, the game gets real hard real quick.
And this is, there's almost so much burst damage that it doesn't matter if you have a bracer. If you get caught, you're probably dead anyway. In these larger scale mid-game engagements. Tower's getting sieged out mid. There will be a vacuum from Faye. He doesn't have the wall yet, so really can only scare heroes off. Can't actually force a fight. And I don't know. I feel like the Naga's got to get 4 or 5 items, and even then they have so much cleave, they have so much AoE. I'm not sure if even a max inventory Naga is, her illusions will be tanky enough to survive all the AoE, so I don't really know what Mineski do right now. I feel like they've just got to force some mistakes out of TNC. I don't think they can win this game straight up anymore.
Yeah, I mentioned it early on that I thought the DK was pretty solid against Naga if he manages to get enough farm, and his farm is off the charts right now. He's sitting at 87 creep kills 16 minutes in. It's really, really strong. You compare that to Naga. Naga's sitting at 99. I mean, he has more, but DK's got some kills. He's got the XP off of those. Naga died the one time as well. I mean, 4 kills on DK. Wow, I didn't realize he had that many. Really using that Lothar is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, it's the Darkseer that kept on coming to the bottom lane as well, which, you know, maybe should have just been jungling or roaming like we saw to the Nyx Assassin gets revealed almost on top of the enemy heroes, but slightly out of range. Now the Sentry Ward would be plopped down. Already used this Vendetta, but still coming in. Here comes the Shadow Blade DK, head full of steam. Now the net, locking him in place this early on. Maybe they can bring him down. No, too much chain stun. Where is that sleep? Small skewered into reverse polarity. Insane amount of damage. Triple kill from jessievash. And disaster again for Mineski. This is going to be 4 heroes dead most likely. This might just be, I don't know, maybe not. Oh, the Pale misses.
What a Fisher! That was really well done. wootz praying for his life here, but it's not gonna manage to work out there. But that was actually really nicely placed Fisher. I'm surprised that he managed to live that long after that.
You know, this is wootz's Earthshaker. It is one of his signature heroes. The problem, though, a signature Earthshaker, only so much you can do when your team's down 15-2. I mean, let's be honest.
The hero, I mean, the hero is definitely not where it used to be. There was a point where in the metagame Earthshaker was just a king. I mean, he would dominate team fights and really dominate the map. We're kind of at a point now where heroes are so much better at just surviving a fissure. I mean, you look at Magnus. Oh, I fissured Magnus. Okay, well, I'm going to charge right over that. You know, I fissured a DK. It's like DK's, well, I'm going to tank that easily. It's not really a problem, or I can just Lothars. I mean, it's not a skill that's quite as powerful as it used to be.
Yeah, it's like you said, that was really a pristine fissure from wootz earlier on, but then Magnus just skewers over it, and it's very frustrating.
And you compare his ultimate. I mean, now with like say the going back to the Magnus reference again, you can just skewer in and then use reverse polarity, which is essentially a fissure, or which is essentially an echo slam. It's not quite as powerful, but way easier to position, way easier to get in there and use. You don't need a blink dagger to do it. So he's just really kind of fallen out of favor, and I'm really pretty interested that they picked him up here, but hasn't really paid off yet.
This is more of what I've seen from the past from this team is, you know, they're a little bit, they're not quite as comfortable with some of the newer heroes, or they just prefer what they've done in Dota 1 for a long time, but yeah, we're seeing heroes like Magnus just seem to be a bit higher impact than an Earthshaker, and more versatile too. You know, you don't like you can run him as an offlane. You can't run Earthshaker in that position. It
Not
doesn't
even
work.
close. No.
But he offers you a similar level of teamfight initiation with less items, and on top of that, buffs up your carry. So really, not really two heroes that you normally would expect to compare to each other, but they're being asked to fill a fairly similar role this game at this stage of the game, which is to help their teams win big, like, larger scale clashes. And Magnus, frankly, much better at doing that right now. Net onto the Rubik, but they can't really go in.
No. I mean, there's a reason that heroes kind of fall in and out of favor. You know, changes in the meta, changes the buffs, etc. Looks like Queen of Pain's going to go after him. He's going to go with the Courier. Very smart. Well played by Yanni. I was about to yell at him for going after the Earthshaker when you could just kill the Courier, but he finally does it.
And meanwhile, Ryo combines with Fox. They kill off. Oh, the cross stars. This is just not a charmed life for Darkseer. I mean, how many times have we seen him get picked off? Very similar situation in that bottom lane. It's the Shadow Blade, which just continues to be effective mid lane. 716 forced to use the ult just to survive, but will he be able to? Ice Path catches Yanni under the tower and just barely able to get away.
That was close. I thought that he was going to get him. Was unable to. Nice Ice Path, though. Well played from Jakiro. I mean, Jakiro hasn't had such a bad game. I mean, yeah, he is sitting at 1 and 2. Actually, 1 and 2 is not that bad relative to the rest of the team. Puck 0 and 4. Jay, as you mentioned, 0 and 5, just had an awful game. I mean, there's really just not a whole lot he can do when 2 Invis heroes pop out and you just insta-die. Darkseer, a hero that's pretty solid in the long lane, but once you start losing and you can't stay in that lane anymore, you're pretty much useless. So he continues to go there. I mean, there's really nothing he can do, though.
Right, you know, I guess the question is, who else do you put there? Maybe your Puck, but he's desperately got to get a Blink Dagger. He's gone for 2 bracers. He still needs the Blink. For these guys to have any chance, they got to get the Puck. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if the Naga ult, she can initiate, but you need some items. I mean, even if it's just a Dagon, they need some burst damage. Without the burst, TNC are just going to turn every single fight around. They have a Blink Magnus. They've got a Queen of Pain with the Lincoln Sphere and another 1,200 gold. This is, if he goes for the BKB, I mean, really, you can net him, but you don't have the damage to kill him, even if he's held in place while he's BKB.
He has a BKB. It's in his stash right now.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not good.
Yeah, they are going to go after him here, but the Lothars managing to dodge. They're not going to be able to catch him. He's just going to get away very easily.
Oh, no.
And that's kind of what I mentioned. You compared to like the Blink Dagger. Blink Dagger better at positioning, but I mean Lothars has the added versatility of being a pretty much guaranteed escape if they don't have vision. And even if they have vision, you would have died with a blink anyway, but they had to invest gold this time.
And they also have to spend money to get that detection, so
yeah,
it's kind of a win-win.
Yeah. Double damage Johnny, meanwhile, powering down the middle tier 2. He sees all of the heroes on bottom. I think he sees most of them. Yeah, he is going to go ahead and stay. I thought he was going to blink away and run there, but very wisely decides to stay and kill it. Does trade a tier 1, it looks like. Oh, actually going to the TPN. One of the TPs got canceled, I think, and this is just going to be Max. Vash misses everything with the skewer for the second time. He's had a rough game, Vash. He's missed 2 skewers now. Meanwhile, Puck comes in. We got a nice ultimate. We're going to see a potentially big team fight, but DK throwing down big damage, but it looks like, yes, Magnus will go down. Rubik goes down. If they get the DK here, but DK is just going to cut wootz down in half. Yanni shows up as well to help his teammate out, and between Queen of Pain and DK, there's not a whole lot Naga can do. I think Naga should probably start running. Yep, and Fox shows up, and down he goes. He should have turned around and started running a long time ago.
Yeah, didn't anticipate that extra level of burst damage from the Nyx Assassin. Now the Puck comes back in, but it's Yanni who's doing the big work along with Ryo. Just chopping, slicing, dicing, breathing fire, everything. All the damage in the world, and then neutrals of all things. Snipe that kill. So something, I guess, something positive
Small
for Mineski.
small wins. Jakiro manages to kill himself. I mean, Magnus had a pretty poor initiation there. He missed his skewer. They ended up killing him. But Naga just stayed way too long. She's not a massive tank yet. She has a Lincoln Sphere, but that's it. She has a Lincoln Sphere and boots. She's not invincible by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, DK, meanwhile, sitting on a BKB of Lothars, he pretty close to is invincible. Lincoln Sphere even on the Queen of Pain as well.
Right. Again, what do they have that can deal with a BKB? There's not really much. There's only the net that even goes through the Magic community to hold him in place, and even then, DK just stands and delivers. He doesn't care if he's like, okay, fine, well, you can throw a net on me, but then you better run, because otherwise, I'm coming after you with that Shadow Blade. So
yeah, and he's what, half a level from level 16, which once he gets level 16, giant splash, pick up a Helm of the Dominator, you lifesteal off of that splash. It's pretty sick.
It's gonna be some big trouble, and that's also gonna kill the Naga illusions almost instantly. This is what we talked about as the potential answer in the mid game. Unfortunately, the mid game isn't coming around the 30-minute mark. It's coming, not in the mid game. We talked about it as a counter in the late game, but it's coming in the mid game because they're just so far ahead, 20-4. They're getting items that they shouldn't be getting for another 10 minutes.
TNC look really strong. I'm gonna be honest. This is the first time I've actually seen them play. I know of jessievash. I've heard that name. So was he even a part of a different team, or maybe in a different? I think, was his team called something different?
I think he was. It's escaping me now. I'm sure someone in the chat will correct us. But Pagibig has actually been. They've been the best Dota 2 team from the Philippines for a while. They're actually the representative to the Asia, which I believe is a $30,000 prize pool. Happening in December, so they They went to the Pinoy Gaming Festival. They qualified for the LAN finals. It's a pretty cool story. It's this up and coming team who doesn't get the respect or have the fan base that a team like Mineski does, or even MSI Evo GT, iZone. You look at a lot of these other more well-known Dota 1 Filipino teams, but it's really TNC who have been consistently the best team in Dota 2 in the Philippines, and I gotta say, they feel much more in touch with the current metagame than anyone else I've seen.
Yeah, they look good. They look good. And their strategies are very much Pinoy. I mean, they have a lot of crazy stuff going on, but they're executing it very well. They get another kill up top. Yeah, 716 knows all about it as he dies yet again here. Poor 716, he has not had a good series. I mean, he got a lot of farm this game, but game one, he had the Furion that had struggled, let's say. And this game, sitting at 3 and 4, he does have 3/4 of his team kills, so I guess in that case he's MVP for them. I don't know, I guess.
This is tough. Mineski, they showed some really great picks. They went for the Undying in their first match of the day, and Bimbo just got out of control. But I feel like they've fallen back into their old style, and not, also giving TNC too much. Giving the Magnus, giving the Queen of Pain, the Rubik, the same exact opening we saw last game. I just don't think I don't think the draft really respected what TNC did last game enough, and they're paying for it now. They do have a Darkseer, so at the very least, this game likely to go for a while. But not to mention the Naga, of course. But it's not looking good, and now the BKB is up on Queen of Pain in the stash, still not delivered, but double BKB on the carries. Dragon Knight about to hit 16. Yikes.
Yeah, Yanni didn't have a fantastic first 5 minutes, I think, of the last game, but since then he's played really splendidly. Has really been all over the map in both of these games. His Queen of Pain has been something to enjoy, and has definitely been a deciding factor as far as their play here. Likewise, the Magnus, of course, couples very well with the Queen of Pain. Vash has just decided he's going to just deforestation here up top, and just plowing through these trees with Skewer. This is pretty ridiculous.
Ryo is still one creep away from his ult. Don't use that ult. He's going to get netted under a Sentry Ward, but where's the damage? He will force out the Dragon form, so at least it's not the Frost Dragon for Mineski this fight. But Yanni jumps in. BKB means he doesn't care about that Naga ult. The net was already used on Dragon Knight. That will be an easy kill. Does come at the cost of all of his mana. Now cast charging forward once Jay. Vacuum back into the Riptide. Nice counter initiation, but it's Yanni who just seems to be here every single fight. Now blinking away. Fox charging forward. Trying to go into wootz. In comes the Skewer. Reverse polarity on 3. Disaster ensues, and it's going to be a team wipe. Mineski buyback from 2, but it doesn't matter. This is too much.
I'm laughing because this battle's all going on, and he's just sitting right here. He's just waiting patiently, and then finally he's like, all right, now I'm going. I love how long he just sat there in the trees while his team was fighting 4v5. That was amazing.
Well, he can afford to because their carries are so farmed, so I think it's actually very smart by him to buy his time.
I'm just laughing. Like, he's just sitting there watching his team fight. He's like, you go, guys, you got this. Rio, meanwhile, his dragon form is going to wear out. It looks like he may actually kill him. Yeah, he stayed a little bit too long here. Lothar's up in about another second, but I believe the DS, yep, that shell is going to be able to take him down.
That's a lot of gold and a lot of experience. That's
744.
Even more gold damage. No Assault Cuirass anytime soon. He just blew his whole stash down to 500 gold, so...
And that was really unnecessary. Like, that fight was over. He could have just ran back a long time ago, but he stayed to farm.
Right, he doesn't even have his ult form, so it's not like he can even push or farm particularly quickly right now, but he's 10-1-7. Don't think that Rio can be questioned too much for his play this game overall. He's looking good. Maybe it'll even be the Mjolnir. Assault Cuirass, they don't have that much physical damage on Mineski's side. Would help them push, but I won't be surprised. Either one would be viable, and it gives you even more AoE, even more ways to bring down that Naga Siren's illusions. It's still... Mineski, how many buybacks did they use in that fight? 3? 2 or 3? Something like that? That is... They're already behind. They really can't afford to be blowing gold like that, but they didn't really have a choice either.
Yeah, look at the level differential. You mentioned DK was 17. Queen of Pain is level 18. Look on the Mineski side. 13, 14, 8. Both wootz and Cell. That is so little. 10 levels. 10 levels behind Queen of Pain. That's insane.
I was trying to bring up the hero levels overlay, and then that engagement broke out. Darkseer drops again. Another death for Bimbo. It just has not been his day, not his game. Well, it has been his day earlier, but it's not his game right now. And like you said, level 18 on the Queen of Pain, level 8 on the Earthshaker, and the twin-headed dragon, and they just absolutely melt. Yanni, and this is with him going for this very defensive build. If you're this far ahead, you don't really need damage items. You're just immortal, and you do plenty of damage in fights.
Yeah, I mean, he hits for 167 just by himself. I mean, Earthshaker only has 900 HP. Jakiro's sitting at 900 as well. I mean, just click them a few times, one scream, and they're dead. Doesn't really need a whole lot. DK even going to get... Nope, they're going to leave the Aegis for Yanni. It's a good choice. DK, very unlikely to die. Despite his death last battle, I think that's mostly his fault, not because the other team was just able to kill him.
Yeah, and well, he bought back, so now he's got his Mask of Death. Probably the Helm of the Dominator. I suppose maybe we'll see a Mask of Madness just for a little cheeky play, not because it's actually a good choice, but... We'll have to wait and see. Rio is up to 1,200 gold. Maybe he'll just go back now. Just getting that lifesteal's pretty decent. Pops the dragon form. Now throwing the Darkseer forward. Jade walls crisscross. X marks the spot.
X of walls here. What happens if you run through the center of that? 716 taking a bunch of damage. Lincoln Sphere going to proc there as he tried to stun him, so the Lincoln Sphere is now done. He does not have ulti. 75 seconds, as we mentioned, a very long cooldown until you get to level 16, and he is really nowhere near level 16, just sitting on 14 right now.
Fox diving in. BKB
wow, Yanni has balls of steel.
Yanni does, and so too does Fox, who actually, nice impale dodge earlier by Switch. Doesn't matter. Queen of Pain gets the triple, and now maybe even the puck, the mana burn bringing him low. Yanni wants to dive this. There's a phase shift in 1 second. The auto attacks bringing him low, not quite killing him off. Oh, he actually didn't walk away. Didn't port to the orb, and now he'll pay. Ultra kill for Yanni, who's just putting on a Queen of Pain clinic. 13-0-11 after last game. Where what was he? 21, 29, 5, and 12. Insane Queen of Pain play in both of these games.
Yeah, Yanni's looking so strong here. I actually think this was a decent choice by Puck. He tried to juke Yanni into blinking to where he thought he would orb, but Yanni wasn't having it. He just waited very patiently. So, you know, he knew he could blink even if he did go for it afterwards, so it wasn't really a... It was a nice attempt, but it wasn't really going to work.
It was not likely to succeed.
Yeah, not likely to succeed. But hey, you got to try things when you're down 33-7, all right?
Yeah. Well, the gold graph over 20k advantage. The experience graph over. Oh my goodness, over 35,000 experience. Normally you look at the experience number. It's not really that accurate because experience has diminishing returns. But when it's this far ahead, then you have a level 20 Queen of Pain and a level 8 Earthshaker on the other side of the map, and that is not a place you want to be.
Can he triple him up? I wonder if he can triple him up. He's, what, 4 levels ahead? Or 4 more levels? If he can continue to kill the Earthshaker, keep him from getting XP, I think he might be... I've never seen anybody triple somebody else's level.
It would be pretty impressive. He's close. Now Rio gets caught out. BKB will be forced. He's on the wrong side of the fissure. Or maybe it's Mineski who pulled him onto the wrong side. Swish. Nice job there by Fox, canceling the impale. And now Rio gets caught, but again, where's the follow-up? Where's the damage? But we see an Echo Slam attempted here. wootz thinking about it. Echo Slam. There you go. Not enough. It's first polarity.
Yeah. Through all of that, they do end up getting the Dragon Knight. He will be able to buy back. I'm not sure if he's going to. Yanni, meanwhile, is going to die, but he does have that Aegis support, so he's not really going anywhere. Fox decides to get the last hit. Rubik died through all of that. I don't know how. Rubik was just tanking damage from himself, the illusions through the wall that entire time. But all of Mineski are now dead. Yanni is not dead, and that's pretty much the story of the game.
Oh, well, is it though? TNC thinking about the Rex here. In comes Yanni looking for, well, frankly, I think this is backdoor. Technically, there's no creeps in the base, but backdoor protection not triggered. It's a little bit buggy at times in Dota 2. Not like it would have mattered anyway. TNC poised to take this game too. Already leading this best out of 3-1-0, and poised to be your very first Philippines Dota 2 All-Stars Invitational champions. Boy, it's a mouthful, but it is a well-earned mouthful for them. That sounded wrong, didn't it?
Yeah, like immediately. Anyway, they look good. I mean, they played very well. I'm impressed. I can't wait to see them in the Asia tournament. When that's in December, correct? Early December?
Yeah, that's I could look up the dates after this, but yeah, it's sometime in December. I think in the next couple of weeks, and this is a good confidence builder, I think, for them going into that event.
Yeah, and b-balling, I believe, casted one of the qual. Is that the It's Gosu one? Or is that a different one?
Oh, It's Gosu Asia Madness. Did they play in the qualifier? I know it was.
No. I have no idea. I remember casting. I casted some of the qualifier games with b-balling, so I was already kind of excited for that tournament. That's why.
Oh, that wasn't for the Asia. That was for It's Gosu Asia Madness. So.
Okay, so that's a different tournament.
Totally different from the Asia, even though I could see the confusion.
Got it. Well, I mean, they both say Asia. All right.
Yeah.
I know that it's a continent. I'm American. I didn't really. Did you have geography?
Asia's a place. It's all places are the same. So.
Yeah.
Did I have geography? No, I actually don't know where I am right now.
I took geography in 3rd grade. Well, you know the running joke: Americans don't know the rest of the world, and it's true. I know that Asia is where China is, and that's really about it. Meanwhile, Rio is going to go ahead and take down 716 here. We get another stun. Of course, the Dragon's going to give away which one is real.
Look at that net.
Slow, even if he's netted.
That's the biggest net I've ever seen.
That's a dragon in a web. 716 is actually going to be able to survive this, interestingly enough. I thought for sure he was dead.
Yeah, well, Naga... Oh, she is level 16. Has the 1-minute cooldown ult. They do have the Darkseer wall. We could see that one last hurrah where they get a huge Frost Dragon of their own.
They haven't lost Raxus yet.
And they do have the Assault Cuirassar on the Dragon, which means Ryo's actually going to be really negating himself if Jay finds the wall, but oh, completely whiffs. That is real bad news. They needed that wall to hit.
If they could hit the wall, they could maybe defend this. Without the wall, there's just not a chance. They're going to go for a big initiation here on the DK, but BKB gets grabbed by Quap. Yanni just starts going to town. Down goes the Jakiro. Looks like Queen of Pain, or Naga may be the next to fall. Nope, Puck beats her to it. Follow that up by perhaps Darkseer. Oh, missing the skewer there. Vash having a rough game as far as skewers go.
I think he used up all of his good juju in game number 1, because he didn't miss a single one. Now Echo Slam on everyone. Perfect team fight from Mineski, but will it be enough? This Dragon doesn't care. He's just chopping away. Oh.
It was perfect except for the fact that there was a giant dragon killing everybody on the team.
If they weren't behind 30k gold, that could have been a game-changing fight, but just way too many items behind at this point.
That's quite the misnomer. If they weren't behind by 30k gold, that could have been good.
Now 716 will die in the shadow of his own fountain. On to Yanni, who gives up an absolutely gargantuan kill streak. 800 gold bounty just for killing him off, plus gonna buy back. So now, well, doesn't really need more items, but certainly not gonna be buying anytime soon. Now on to Fox. But it's an Eagle Horn going for that Ethereal Blade, almost has it. Oh, this could be big. An Ethereal Blade Nyx Assassin. That is some baller-ass support play. TNC. Finally the GGs for Mineski, who don't really know when they're beat, but now are very thoroughly beat and will tap out soon.
But they probably will not leave the game.
Yes.
From what I understand. They're just saying GG just to let them know that they played very well, but they're going to continue to fight.
I love it. It's this is why I love my Pinoy Dota. It's a treat to see.
This is why I love it, because of the crazy games, man.
Well, no, it's just never say die kind of attitude. Ubos Yan, destroy all the enemies. You know, it's TNC though who are exhibiting that Ubos Yan.
Ubos Yan. Look at this guy dropping the knowledge.
Yeah, this is kill all your enemies Dota. This is TNC. Well, that just happened.
Yeah, he just jumped up there 758 right to the head. Oh, pretty sick.
Ryo, even in the fountain, look how tanky he is. Where's that BKB?
They're gonna get him! They're gonna get him! Oh no, he pressed the BKB kill everything button. But he wants to die anyway.
Nope.
Wow.
Nah, he's fine.
So dang.
These guys have perfected fountain camping to an art. They do it so often, like every single competitive match that, I mean, there's nobody better in the world. Filipinos are the best fountain campers in the world, bar none. You heard it here first.
But that's because at the end of every game, nobody leaves, so you get a lot of practice.
Right, exactly. They've
You
trained,
get a lot of
they've trained
practice at
early for
tower.
this.
Fountain killing. Oh, that's awesome. I love this. The sleep just to waste more time. Jay gonna drop the wall here. I keep wanting to call him Hyper X, but that of course is a sponsor. They do go ahead. Nice skewer here. Catches everybody. Woo, that was nice. So Vash just saving it up all game to hit that one.
That's inhumane. I mean, that's just not right.
That was sick, man. That was sick.
That's brutal.
He just made a shish kebab out of Mineski. It was amazing.
Oh, now I'm hungry. I want a shish kebab. 22, 1 and 18 for Yanni to go with, what was it, his 29, 5 and 12 or something like that. Boy, he has had a hell of a performance, carrying TNC through this game especially. The first game had some, really questionable ults, didn't really connect, but Pagibig.TnC are going to be your champions. They take this best out of 3 grand finals in convincing fashion. Thanks again, and a big shout out to Pacific Esports who organized this event. Please be sure to show them some love. Like the Facebook page, support them. They are the reason we're able to bring you these games, these Pinoy Dota 2 games. Of course, big thanks to the teams, Pagibig.TnC and Mineski, for playing this tournament. I know it's rather late. They're after midnight. Jay said he was tired. It may have showed in the end, but big shout out to them. Congratulations in order for Pagibig.TnC. They are your grand finals champions. They will be taking home the hardware, the sweet, sweet loot for TNC, who have the Asia in sight. Next stop for them will be, I think, that tournament. Maybe a few small ones along the way, but looking good and some, I think some much needed confidence. Of course, I'm LD, Facebook, YouTube, twitter.com/ldDOTA, but more importantly, my co-commentator for today, he's Nebula, twitter.com/DCNebula with a 1 instead of an L. As well as twitch.tv/DC Nebula with a 1 instead of an L.
I got used to just saying Nebu1A every time.
Actually,
my name is actually just Nebu1A now. Yeah, I want to second the supporting of Pacific Esports. I think it's really important that these communities around the world, they really can't function if you don't go there, if you don't support them, you don't help them out. All you got to do is go to Facebook, get some likes, visit the website, etc. Do the good work. You don't really need to shell out a bunch of cash or anything like that. But
yeah, it helps the sponsors too, because then they see,
absolutely,
oh, you guys have a huge fan base. People appreciate these tournaments. We want to do more than just give you some hardware. Maybe next event we throw in a couple $100 for prize pool. So thanks to CM Storm for providing that loot. They are your hardware sponsor. They're giving away some mice. I think some other stuff as well. But it's Pagibig.TnC. Take this one, and Nebu1A, thank you for joining me, man. It's always a blast.
It was good to cast again, LD. Last night I was just sitting on my computer. I was like, man, I really want to cast a game. And luckily you had something going on today, so that's good. Hopefully I can do some more in the future. But yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, for today, that will wrap it up. Congratulations one more time. Pagibig.TnC will be your champions for the Philippines Dota 2 All-Stars qualifier. Or not qualifier, All-Stars Invitational. With that wraps it up for today's broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time. I believe I'll actually see you guys tomorrow. I should be casting some DreamHack, although it's not 100% confirmed yet. But I will let everyone know. Be sure to follow me, and I will update you guys on Facebook, on Twitter, with more information about the schedule for that. So thanks again. We'll see you later.